Corey Joseph, I played against.
For the Toronto Raptors.
I played against. Tristan Thompson, I played against. All those Canadian guys.
Wow. We know you ended up playing in the Philippines at the UAAP for the UST Growling Tigers.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
So I guard the best opposing wing player, so I took a lot
During
of
that first year, who was the most difficult person to guard for you? Remember that year? Hi everyone, this is Zeke, and welcome to another episode of YYC Athletes. Our guest for today was one of the fastest players that I ever saw play in the UAAP. He's a menace, especially on the defensive side of play. I'm honored to have with me right now Jamil or John Sheriff, the sheriff in town of the UAAP. Jamil, how are you doing?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm doing good, thanks, and welcome to YYC Athletes.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me.
Of course, thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon.
No problem.
And so today we're going to talk about your UAAP career, your life after the UAAP, what you're doing now, and other stuff about you that people want to learn. And of course, I'm sure the UST Growling Tigers community are probably asking, where the hell is Jamil Sheriff now? Whatever. Why don't we start with our first question, Jamil? When did your basketball story start?
I would say I started playing, I think, when I was about 9 years old. Like, my cousin invited me to his basketball club back in Ontario. Because I used to play baseball, actually. Baseball was my first sport.
Baseball, okay.
Yeah, I was a big baseball guy, so once he introduced me to basketball, like, after a few days of practice, I'm like, yeah, I really like this. I'm enjoying it a lot. So, like, from then on, I really started, like, falling in love with the game and started taking it a lot more serious.
When you started taking it seriously, was there a particular player who you followed or patterned your game on?
Yeah, I always
like
really
NBA or in Canada?
Yeah, in the NBA, I really looked up to like Allen Iverson, Chris Paul, because I was a point guard, so those guys had a big impact on me for sure.
Allen Iverson, the answer,
yeah,
the crossover,
the big AI fan,
the big AI fan. And so, what was your favorite move when you were growing up? What was your favorite Allen Iverson move?
I would say his crossover on Michael Jordan. Everyone knows that one, right? You can't forget that one. Yeah, and it was just really cool.
One cross.
Yeah.
He was just testing Michael Jordan.
And he did it again.
He did it again, right?
He got him,
Yeah. And so you started falling in love with basketball at the age of very young age of 9.
Yeah. 9, 10.
9, 10. But when did you really take it seriously? Was it high school or was it back during your grade school?
I would say like really serious, probably high school. That's when I really felt like I could maybe I wanted to play basketball like after high school, like play some college ball, maybe pick it to the pros if I'm lucky. So yeah, I would say high school.
What school did you play for when you were in high school?
It was a school in Mississauga, Ontario called Loyola Catholic Secondary School.
You going up against during that time? Do you still remember those players?
I don't know if you know Nick Stauskas.
Yeah.
He actually went to the same high school as me.
Nick Stauskas, great shooter.
Yeah, he's a good shooter.
Yeah.
Who else did I go up against? I played against Andrew Wiggins' brother, also growing up. Nick Wiggins. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Wow, so big name guys too.
Corey Joseph, I played against him before.
For the Toronto Raptors.
I played against Tristan Thompson. I played against all those Canadian guys.
Wow. So you were really exposed with high caliber players way back when you were in high school, right?
Yeah.
Right. So how would you sum up your high school career though, in Mississauga?
I would say all in all, it was good. I earned a starting spot most of my high school career, so I would say that was a good accomplishment. And I helped my team make it pretty far to the playoffs. We never really got a championship, but yeah, we had. I would say it wasn't bad.
Well, that's great. And then after high school, what was the plan? Of course, U Sports was an option, but as we know, you ended up playing in the Philippines at the UAAP for the UST Growling Tigers. Yeah. How did that all come about?
We try to guard the best opposing wing player, so I took a lot
During
of
that
pride in
first year, who was the most difficult person to guard for you? Remember
Um,
that year?
my last year of high school, 2008. We had like some organizer that created like a team so
Mm-hmm.
that we could all get exposure because he had a lot of connections to people in the Philippines. So
Mm-hmm.
we played against a bunch of like NCAA and UAAP schools, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I got like 5 offers from there.
5 offers.
I think it was like UST, JRU, Letron, Mapua,
Mm-hmm.
and I forget what the other school was, but
All
yeah,
big name schools in the
yeah,
Philippines. Of course, USC's with the UAP, JRU, Mapua,
Letron, yeah,
Letron, big name schools in the NCAA.
yeah.
But why did you choose the Growling Tigers? Oh, by
Uh,
the way, Growling he's a UST alumni. I'm an FEU alumni. A big
rivals.
rivalry going on right here,
Yeah,
but hey, we're having fun
yeah,
right now.
exactly.
Yeah. So why did you choose UST?
Well, I heard a lot of good things about UST, like on my titas and stuff. Like, yeah, that's a good
Mm-hmm.
school,
Mm-hmm.
and plus I heard UAP is
Mm.
really big. Like
Yeah.
NCAA is big too,
Yeah.
but I heard like UAP is like the number
Mm-hmm.
one collegiate league in the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what really made me choose
I
a
see.
UST offer.
Some people may be wondering, John, is like, is he even Filipino? Like, what were you
Yeah.
eligible to play in the UAP? What's that story about?
Yeah, I'm actually half Filipino. My mom's from Nueva Ecija,
Oh, Nueva
Cabanatuan.
Ecija. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually a dual citizen. I have a Philippine passport and a Canadian passport. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I don't count as an import. Look,
Okay, so that clears out some of the questions that some people may have. So, but that's great. You chose USD because
Yeah.
you heard about how big it is and how big the UAP is.
Exactly. Yeah.
When was your first season with the UAP or with the USD?
So I came to UST the following year after I graduated high school in 2009, and there's a rules if you're a foreigner like a Philam, you have to do 2 year
2 year
residency.
residency. Yeah.
So my first 2 years I was playing in the team B, just preparing myself, and then my first season of UAP was 2011.
Okay, let's talk about that first season. You had a great high school career here in Canada, in Mississauga. You played against big name players, Nick Stauskas, Tristan Thompson, Nick Wiggins, Corey Joseph. You had a 2 year residency when you got to the Philippines. But 2011, you got your first chance to play for UST at the UAP. How was that experience for you, John?
It was great actually. Like I'm not gonna lie, my first game I think it was against NU. I remember like I had those jitters a bit, but like once you get on the court, like it just feels like it all goes away, you know. So I think my rookie year wasn't too bad. I remember I was a backup to Jarek Fortuna that time.
Well,
Yeah, he was a great
yeah,
point guard.
great
I
point
learned a
guard,
lot from him.
very smart,
Very smart, very
very
quick.
smart point guard.
So yeah, it was good. I felt I learned a lot my first year.
So you said you were a backup point guard. As a backup point guard, when would you usually come in?
Usually towards the end of the first quarter or maybe early second quarter, but usually towards the end of the first. And yeah, whenever I come in, like I know what my role is to be a menace on defense. So
You are a menace on the
I
defense.
always try to impact the game that way. Like I think it might have been in someone from your school, FEU. I'll say like Terrence Romeo,
Okay, Terrence
Garcia.
Romeo.
Those guys are
Yeah.
really shifty, really smart players. So I had some troubles with them. I can't lie about that.
Well, right off the bat, you were thrown into that
Yeah,
that
exactly.
fire to guard Terrence Romeo and R. Garcia. I don't want to be that spot.
Yeah, it was
But,
tough, but it definitely like you learn a lot playing against those type of players, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was a good experience for sure.
How was the season for UST during your first year? Did you go? Where did you end up?
We did a lot better than they did the previous year. Like we made it to the final four, but
Okay.
yeah, we had a tough opponent. We had Ateneo in the first round.
Always tough.
And they had like a lot of good players that year. I think they won it that year actually. So.
Was that the Kiefer Ravena era for?
Yeah, that was his
Ateneo?
first year as well.
First year.
And we still had like Nico Salva.
Yeah, Nico
Who
Salva.
else was there? Just they had a lot of good.
Rabah Al Hussein was probably still there.
I think he was.
Oh, he wasn't there anymore.
I'm not sure if Greg Stoddard was there yet. He might have not, but yeah, they had a lot of big name guys. And
Yeah.
they're tough.
So that was the first season, 2011.
Yeah.
Season 2, what happened?
Unfortunately,
Jamil Sheriff.
the following year in 2012, I ran into some academic issues.
So did you
I
have
had
to sit
I
down?
had to sit off 1 year for that, and that was like a wake up call for me. like I felt like I wasn't taking my studies serious just because
What degree were you taking?
I was taking marketing management,
Marketing management.
commerce.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt like just cause I'm a varsity or I have like free education, that you shouldn't be taking it for granted.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a wake up call for me,
Yeah.
and I learned a lot from that year. Like yeah, I'm never I'm gonna take my studies more serious. I promised myself. Then so after that, like I never had that issue again.
Well, you were called a student athlete. Student athlete.
So students should always come
Student
first.
should always
Definitely.
come first, right? Well, it happens in life, right?
Yeah.
You have some challenging times,
Yeah.
but you learn from them and you bounce
Exactly.
back, right? And that's
Exactly.
what happened with Jamil. And so he was able to fix his grades. And season three, how's
2013.
that? 2013.
Yeah, 2013. That was actually one of my best seasons. One of my best seasons in UAP. That was actually a tough year for me because my father passed away that year too.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's no problem. Yeah, it actually happened like in the middle of the season in July.
During the UAAP
Yeah, during the
season?
UAP season, because he
Where
was
was
already,
your dad?
he was in Canada. He was already battling cancer. So like I visited him earlier that year in May, and then yeah, I got the unfortunate phone call that like we kind of knew was happening, but it's just always hard when
Yeah,
you
of
hear it,
course.
right? So you
Especially
can
your
never
dad.
prepare for that. So yeah, my dad was like my mentor, like really close with him. So
Did he teach you basketball too?
he was a soccer guy actually, but like when he knew that I love basketball, like he would like study the games,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
it really like helped me out. Like he watches all my games, he'll tell me what I did wrong, what I did right. So yeah, he was a really big factor in my life.
So what did you do when you found out? Did you go back to
Yeah, I
Canada?
definitely like I had to.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all my coaches, of course, they understand that like
Yeah.
yeah, don't worry about it. So I took like about a week off during the season. I went home with my family,
Yeah.
just to get that closure.
Well,
for
thanks to
sure,
the
you know?
UST community, you're there for supporting you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
during that tough time.
I actually was thinking like I was like, should I even like? I was thinking about staying with my mom because I could see how much my mom was hurting that time. I was like, yo, should I even come back to the Philippines and play? But my mom and like my friends like, no, your dad would want you to go back and play and finish
Yeah.
your stuff. So that was like just extra motivation for me. So when I came back that year, like all my coaches could see like I
The
wanted
fire in the
fire in
eyes.
my eyes. So like because earlier that season, like coach wasn't really giving me a lot of minutes, but then
Who was the coach?
Coach Pedal,
Coach Pido, a legendary coach in the Philippines as well. For those who don't know, Pido Aranjo, a PBA legend.
great coach, great
Yeah,
coach.
yeah.
But yeah, when I came back, they could all see like yeah, like I was really motivated. Like I really wanted this. I wanted to prove something. So yeah, when I came back, because that year, like Fortuna already graduated.
Okay.
And, we didn't really have like a true point guard that year. Like I don't know if you know Tata Batista.
Yeah, he's a shooter, more of a shooter.
More of a shooter.
Yeah, he's more of a
Like,
shooter.
Coach was using him as a point guard. Even at the Kiwag, he's not a point guard, right? He's a
Yeah,
slasher.
he's a shooting guard.
He's a
at best.
shooting guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So coach decided to put me on the starting lineup, and then from then like our team really like excelled because I think we were missing that true point guard out there because we had like a lot of great scorers, but we didn't really have somebody that set up the offense.
Yeah,
well. So
yeah.
that year I really like took pride in that, like getting everybody involved, and then my defense just picked up.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Luckily we made it to the finals that year, but came up a little short. But
Who did you go up against that year?
went up against LaSalle that season.
Oh, that was Jeron Tang.
Well, the Tang brothers.
The Tang brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Jeron and
Jarek Tang.
Jerick Tang. Yeah.
That was a good series. So we went to game 3. Like we won the first game. The second game we didn't really play our best, and then the third game we were up like 12 or 14 points in the second half. And yeah,
They came back.
Yeah, they came back.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
looking
it's
back
okay.
at it, John, the first 3 years of your UAP career, I mean, first year was good. Second year had that challenge with your studies,
Yeah.
but you bounced back. Third year you came back with a team, but you had another challenge.
Yeah, my father passed
Your
away.
father passing away, but then once you got back with the team again, you used those challenges as a motivation,
Exactly.
which was great. And I'm now looking forward to that fourth year. How was your fourth year after like going all the way to the finals, after experiencing all those challenges, the first 3 years of your UAAP career?
Yeah.
How's your fourth year?
Fourth year was honestly it was another challenge because Coach Pedal decided to go to the PBA.
Yeah.
So he wasn't coaching with us anymore. We had a new coach, Bong De La Cruz. So it's always a challenge transitioning from a new coach,
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
system in place. So yeah, I would say we didn't have our best year. Like we had a great team, but like we didn't play to our potential. If you know what I mean? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like Jarek Tang left that graduated already.
Was that your final year, fourth and final year, or
No,
you
that
had
was
5 years, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had like Alja Mariano was the captain that year. So
What
we
was your
had
role during your fourth year? Were you the
I
starting
was
point
still
guard?
starting
Yeah.
point guard,
Yeah.
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 But yeah, we just I don't know, we didn't have the chemistry like in the previous years. We didn't even make the final four that year, unfortunately. So that
It's
was a
like
tough season.
after like you're winning or going all the way to the finals, and then your coach leaves. Of
Exactly.
course, it's a
The whole-
rebuilding year,
exactly.
right? And so again, another challenge.
And our coach Bong, he had like a lot of pressure on him, and he was like a rookie
Yeah,
coach.
rookie coach, and it's hard to coach a team that just came off a finals, then, right?
Exactly, because it's like yeah, I know he was feeling all the pressure. Like every game, you know how you could hear people talking like, "Oh, this guy's not a good coach," and that. So
Especially with the rich history of UST in basketball,
exactly,
right? Yeah. If when you hear UST in the UAAP, you always expect at least a Final Four appearance,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
And being a brand new coach with the best players graduating too, it's basically a brand new team.
It's definitely a challenge for him.
It's going to be a challenge, but again, it's another challenge that you just have to overcome.
Exactly.
Final year now. How was your final year?
That following year, we definitely played a lot better. Like Coach Bong really did his homework this time. Like we had like great game plans for every game. Like our team chemistry was like better than it ever was, and
Yeah, sorry. So you going back to your fourth year, you got to the finals. That was against FEU.
FEU. Yeah. So this actually, I thought this was gonna be my final season, but I had one more season after this one.
Oh yeah, you had eligibility
Yeah, because you're allowed to play five. Yeah, because that next following year I almost didn't play.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, yeah, he's clear to play.
So basically, you had two finals appearances.
Two final appearances. Yeah.
One against Ateneo
Oh, LaSalle.
or LaSalle, and then FEU.
FEU.
Wow.
So I was I'm lucky, honestly. Even though I wasn't fortunate enough to win a championship, just being able to have that experience and playing in the finals in the UAP.
Yeah.
Like it was
Because FEU, you probably played against Terrence Romeo, R.R. Garcia.
in 2015, no, they graduated already.
Okay.
It was Mac Bello,
R.R. Pogoy.
Yeah, Pogoy.
Yeah, yeah.
Romeo, those were the main guys on the team that year.
Wow,
So they're still
great
pretty
guys
solid,
to have an experience playing against. Now they're great players in the PBA,
Exactly.
right? Right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So sorry. Yeah, that was again your fourth year. Going back to your fifth and final year, where you almost
Didn't play.
didn't play because you was
You're
that
talking about like the age.
the
my
age?
yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I think you're until 25, but I was just turning 25 that year, so
So you were
I
still
was able
eligible.
to. Yeah.
But I guess other people were just trying to
trying to
give you a hard time or give
exactly.
USC a hard time preparing.
Exactly.
I saw one article when I was preparing for this interview, and it said you proved your doubters wrong in your final season. What was that about? What were the doubters saying about Jamil Sheriff?
Oh, because the year before that, like I had some issues with my lack of confidence, I would say, with my perimeter shot. So yeah, people were saying like, oh, yeah, Sheriff, he can't shoot, let him shoot. So I promised myself like, this final year I'm gonna prove to everybody that I have a jump shot. It was just mentally that I wasn't. When I was missing those free throws, it was all a mental thing,
Yeah.
So yeah, that following year I really worked on my game, and yeah, I felt like I proved to them that that I could play, I could shoot.
Yeah, and then that article said you proved your doubters wrong. That final year, averaged 8.9 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 2.6 assists per game, which is a very solid stat line for a starting point guard, especially with your size.
Yeah.
You're a bit undersized at the point guard position, even in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
Right, but hey, you made it work. You played your 5 years.
Yeah.
a lot of challenges along the way.
Definitely.
But from the way I see it, you use those challenges
To motivate
yourself. What would be your takeaway? What would you say were the highs and the lows of your UAAP career?
The high is definitely playing in the championship, you know. Definitely a great experience, like playing for like 18,000 plus, like
That crowd is
that
different.
crowd, yeah. Just like you just get so pumped up to play, like
That UST chant,
yeah.
go
So you
UST.
get goosebumps hearing that stuff, you
Like
know?
I'm an FEU alumni, but every time I hear
Yeah,
that,
so
go UST,
it pushes you to just want to play even harder, you know?
yeah. So
Definitely,
those were the
definitely,
highs,
those were
those
definitely
the
the high.
championship experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
What were the lows?
The lows, like losing, like those couple losing seasons that we had, those disappointments, and of course that year where I didn't play because of my academics, I would say those were definitely the lows. But at the same time, learning experiences,
Yeah,
right? You learn
yeah.
from everything.
I was gonna ask, what's your takeaway from those lows, but you already mentioned it.
Yeah.
You learned from them.
Definitely
Yeah.
learning.
And now that, or after your final year with the UST, you had your 5 playing years done.
Yeah.
What happened to Jamil Sheriff after the playing years at UST?
So I entered the PBA D League draft that year. So I got drafted by Recall. I can't remember what round that was. It was a while ago. So I was playing with them for a bit in the D League.
Recall,
Yeah,
the
Motors.
motorcycle company, yeah.
And also I played for Zarks as well.
Zarksberger.
Zarks Burgers.
Yeah.
And then I also played one season of MPBL, like the very
Okay.
first season
First season.
with Emo Scavite.
Yeah. Emus. Was that
Emus.
RK Morales' team too?
I think the following year.
following
I think he was with. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
was there the following year. But yeah, I played with them the first season, and then so I was supposed to enter the PBA draft also the following year. So I go to the PBA office. They're like, yeah, there's a requirement if you're a foreigner, you got to play at least 14 games in the PBA D League.
PBA D League, yes.
But I played 7 games with Zarks. Just for recall, I was only like a practice player because the team was pretty stacked. So I played also 7 games in the MPBL because I thought that
That would
PBL
count.
would count. Because I asked the manager of the team, I'm like, oh, will these games count for my eligibility in the PBA? And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Of course, yeah, don't worry about it.
So
You
yeah,
can play for us.
so after that MPBL season, like I go to the PBA office, I give them my paperwork, and then I tell them like, yeah, I played 7 games in the D League and 7 in the MPBL, and they're like, oh, sorry,
You can't.
the MPBL games they don't count. I think it's because the PBA and the MPBL they're kind of like competition. I guess.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, yeah, sorry, those games didn't count. So
So
I didn't want to wait like another. So I'd have to wait another year. But then
yeah.
I was kind of getting like a little homesick as well. Like I haven't been back home like for like 3 straight years now because
the last time you went back home was when your father.
actually no. I usually go back home in the holidays.
Okay.
So but after I graduated UST, I was busy with the D League because the season starts like during the holidays time. So I never really had a chance to go home. So it's been like 3 years that haven't been home. I'm
Oh, I
like,
see.
I don't know if I'm like I was getting tired of all of this. I'm like, I don't know if I want to wait anymore. But yeah, I decided to go back home.
If you had the chance to play for the PBA though, and you had the chance to pick a team that you play for, what team would that be?
I mean, I think everybody's dream is to play for either San Miguel or Ginebra.
Yeah.
Because just watching their games, watching their crowds, it's like they're like the biggest fan base right in the PBA. So
that's true.
I'll say definitely I would have liked to play for one of those teams. That would be nice.
Yeah. And so unfortunately, you were not able to, you were not eligible to play for the PBA. What happened after that?
So yeah, I moved back to Canada. Started working over here. Like when I first moved back to Toronto because that's where my family was in 2018. So I was just like coaching in some basketball camps like my first year. Still getting used to adjusting back to living in Canada and working because obviously I've been used to playing basketball my whole life.
Yeah.
And
Were you looking for the jeepney when you got back here?
yeah, no more jeepneys around.
The tricycle.
Tricycles, right? Yeah, it was definitely another transition for me. It's life in Canada. It's like everyone's just working, work.
That's the culture here.
Yeah, it's the culture here. It's like, yeah, it was tough. And then 2019, I decided, because my sister, she's been living in Grand Prairie, in Alberta, and I would say Alberta's a lot more, like, it's easy. It's easier to, like, there's more job opportunities compared to Toronto, because Toronto's like a big city, you know, a lot of competition over there. So yeah, I decided to move to Grand Prairie.
Grand Prairie.
Worked in the airport for a bit. For like, I'd say 2 years I stayed there. Then just recently, this past April, I decided to move here in Calgary. Because
welcome to Calgary.
Yeah, because Grand Prairie is like a small town. I don't know if you heard of Grand Prairie.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and then me and my sister, we've been like missing the city life, so like, why not?
It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the West where you know you still have the redneck culture, and then you have the city life as well. Exactly. It's a mesh of those.
It's not too bad here in Calgary actually. So we decided to move into the city, so we decided to move back, and yeah, so far I'm liking it over here.
Yeah, what have you been doing in Calgary?
So I've been also working at the airport. Also, I'm doing some construction, and I've been playing in a lot of Filipino leagues. A lot of basketball, a lot of good players over here. So you know.
Well, you can't get away from basketball.
I still love the game.
It's your passion. Yeah,
for sure.
So the first time I saw Jamil play was actually just this past weekend at the Unity Basketball League, and he currently plays for the Don Cobb team there. I was doing the commentary, commentating the games there, and I noticed when I saw the roster, Jamil Sheriff. And right away in my head, at the back of my head, I was like, this guy's name is familiar. And so, but I didn't say a word. I just commentated, and he played really well. You won that game, a tough game.
Yeah, it was a tough game.
It was a close game all the way. But yeah, Jamil just played a very solid game, displayed his usual, in-your-face defense, getting those rebounds. The smallest guy in the court getting those rebounds. And the mid-range jumper was there. The free throw line J was there. And so the passing was there. So at the end of the game, I kept thinking about Jamil Sheriff. I even thought about it all the way to the next day. So I texted Harold Boutron.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, is Jamil Sheriff the UST point guard? And he goes, yeah, that's him. And a few days later, we're here at the YYC Athletes interview. So, Jamil, thank you very much for sharing your basketball journey from high school in Mississauga, university at the UST, and your life after UST, right here back in your home country, Ontario or Canada.
Yeah.
And now you're here in Calgary, and it's good to hear that you're enjoying Calgary. Before we let you go, I'd like to give you this opportunity to thank all the people who have supported you all the way, especially with your stint in UST, and a shout out to your family, whoever you wanna greet. This is your opportunity, Jamil.
All right. So I just like to give a big shout out to the UST community. Thanks for all the love and support that you guys showed me in my time there. Of course, my teammates. It's a brotherhood. Like until now, we still keep in touch. So I love all you guys, all my coaches over there. You guys really played a big part in helping me grow and get better as a player. So I'm forever grateful to you guys, and of course my family in Cabanatuan. I love you guys. You guys always supported me. Nice. Every time I got a game, like my Lolas will always be texting me. So and my family here in Canada too, like my mom, my brother, my sister, my niece. Like I love all you guys. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Sheriff, Jamil Sheriff. Thank you again, Jamil, for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
This has been another episode of YYC Athletes with me, your host, Z. Thank you for watching.